Today's podcast is brought to you by Audible.com. Get a free audiobook download and 30-day free trial at www.audibletrial.com/FBIApodcast. Over 150,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player. For listeners of the FBIA podcast, Audible is offering a free audiobook download with a free 30-day trial to give you the opportunity to check out their service. Find some of our favorites: The Hobbit by Tolkien, 1984 by George Orwell, George Carlin reads to you in The Art of War. Books from all genres and walks of life right into your ears. To download your free audiobook today, go to audibletrial.com/FBIApodcast. Again, that's audibletrial.com/FBIApodcast. Valentine's Day is almost here, and it is the perfect time to get flowers for the one you love. Whether it's to say I love you or sorry because you forgot the day, 1-800-Flowers.com is here to help. Get 40% off your purchase when you go to the FBIA Podcast webpage and click the link at the top of our page. That's ronkeilpodcast.libsyn.com, RONKEIL podcast.libsyn.com, and click the link at the top of the page.
Shut up and sit down.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Football is America podcast with Ron and Keil, the award show. I'm Ron.
I'm Keil. You both know that we are doing well because we are doing this show immediately after we recorded our previous one. Did you come back even after hearing all the things that I said out of context? You did. Wonderful.
And we're sorry.
I apologize for none of that. I am who I am, and you can deal. If you would like to know the context for any of those, you will need to email. We will send you an email response back. We will not reveal on the show. No. We keep that mystery. That's what makes a relationship work, girl.
Well, let's talk about a little bit of NFL honors, shall we?
Let's jump right into it, and I want to talk about how wrong I was. Because I was wrong.
I love these subjects.
There are very few times when I was wrong. Most of them, it was more just like me challenging somebody to be amazing. In this case, I said I do not have any faith in Seth Meyers hosting the award show. I didn't think he's funny, or at least not on Saturday Night Live. One of our sponsors, Hulu, has a show starring him called The Awesomes. Ron and I both actually really liked it. Check it out. Hulu original. Hulu, there you go. I like The Awesomes. I thought it was cool. And I really like the intro and outro music. But that, beside the point, this guy jammed out a 10-minute opening monologue, joke after joke. We're going to play it all for you at the end of the show, because if you didn't see it, oh man, I was busting a gut laughing. He did that amazing thing where he was able to lightly insult people, but not so much you get offended, just more that, yeah, that's me, I guess. And he got everyone, Aaron Rodgers, Andrew Luck, J.J. Watt, Roger Goodell, past, present, just everybody. And he was fantastic, and everybody there is a great player. They're a high competitor, and they're all super pissed to be there because they want to be in the Super Bowl. Aaron Rodgers, even when he was accepting his MVP award, super pissed, super angry, didn't want to be there. So here's this guy making jokes, and the whole time Aaron Rodgers was just looking like he was so mad he didn't have cyanide to kill himself with.
So let's go ahead and start off here, Keil. We're going to start with what I think is the most important award, which is the USAA Salute to Service Award, and the winner being Jared Allen of the Chicago Bears.
Yeah. Now, supporting the military is very important to Jared Allen. His grandfather served for 23 years in the Marine Corps. His uncle was in the Air Force. His younger brother is in the Marines. A USO trip in 2009 took him to American military bases in the Middle East, and it has inspired him to launch Jared Allen's Homes for Wounded Warriors Foundation, homesforwoundedwarriors.com, for those of you who are interested in helping him out with that. And its purpose is to build and remodel homes with accessibility features for soldiers that have suffered wounds during their campaigns of service and who need like wheelchair ramps or stuff like that within their homes.
Yeah, under Allen's leadership, the organization has raised more than $3.5 million with the goal of helping 10 veterans each year.
That is absolutely fantastic. Well done, Jared Allen. Very deserved. Hold your head up high, big man, because that is amazing. That is fantastic, and as former veterans, we appreciate it. Hats off to you.
Next up, we have the Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year Award,
which is my personal biggest award, because while I do appreciate military charity, this is just charity. It's the same difference.
Thomas Davis, linebacker for the Carolina Panthers. This is an award given to the player that did the most for others outside of football, Kyle.
Yes, indeed. Davis and his wife started their nonprofit in 2007 to improve the quality of life for underprivileged children. Their foundation reaches 2,000 children annually and has distributed more than $500,000 in financial aid since its inception.
Davis's charitable group also includes a Youth Leadership Academy, a 14-week after-school mentoring program for low-income middle school students. Each year, Davis gives 2 college scholarships to graduating high school seniors who came through the academy. His other community contributions include a school supplies giveaway, Thanksgiving meal for members of women's shelters, and Christmas gift giveaway for children in Charlotte, parts of South Carolina, and Davis's hometown of Shelman, Georgia. Pulled a lot of this from the Charlotte Observer, just giving that out credit where credit's due. One thing I really liked about him was that he was actually legitimately emotional about winning the award.
Absolutely.
On stage. He had tears. His wife was crying. Everybody gave him a standing ovation halfway through the speech because he could barely get it out.
Well-deserved. He put out a very well-deserved call to the NFL where he essentially said, and I'm paraphrasing here, hey, we get paid really well to play a game, and a lot of us came from nothing. We need to give the media something good to write about. Let's give something back. And they gave him a standing ovation. It wasn't just like, oh, we stand up because we're supposed to. This was slow. People were slow to rise. Some people in the front row even, like, come on, cameras are on you. You got to stand up because it looks like you're a jerkwad sitting down. Standing ovation. He wasn't done. And it was very, very well said, and definitely a great speech, great honor to be given this award. And we kind of assumed it's going to go to a big name. And so, in my mind at least, when this goes to a guy who maybe doesn't get the most attention, the most recognition, he probably had to work just that extra little bit harder. And it seems as though this is just genuine love for him. He came from a tiny little town, didn't even have a playground in the town. And he's grateful to give back. And that is amazing.
First ever Art Rooney Award given out to Larry Fitzgerald. The award recognizes an NFL player who demonstrates the qualities of outstanding sportsmanship on the playing field, including fair play, respect for opponents, and integrity in competition. Larry Fitzgerald is the textbook definition of a classy football player.
Yeah, everybody, former teammates, current teammates, they all said, you do not hear negative words come out of his mouth about the refs, about other teams, about fans, about anything. He lives a positive life, and he leads by example. And I'm glad that they have this award now, because it is a definite encouragement to the players to lead by example and to be someone the kids can look up to. I think that's nice. Fantastic.
Charles Tillman of the Chicago Bears said in an interview that Larry Fitzgerald is the nicest person he's ever played against, to the extent that he had a hard time figuring out how he was going to actually tackle this guy hard, when this is a guy who is nothing but a good person on the football field as well.
Good job, Larry Fitzgerald. Well-deserved. Very, very classy. I very much hope that he gets to stay in Arizona. He has been the face of that franchise ever since he arrived, even with Kurt Warner there. Then it was, at the very least, the Kurt and Larry show. He's got a pretty high cap number for next year, so hopefully he gets to stick around.
Moving on to the more talent awards. FedEx Air and Ground Players of the Year were Aaron Rodgers for the Green Bay Packers and Le'Veon Bell for the Pittsburgh Steelers. The NFL.com Fantasy Player of the Year was Le'Veon Bell as well. And the Greatness on the Road Award went to Tony Romo.
Deacon Jones Award, given for the most quarterback sacks in a season, that went to Justin Houston, outside linebacker of the Kansas City Chiefs. Ended the year with 22 sacks. Yeah, that is significant. That is crazy. I think the record is 22.5, so yeah.
You almost got there.
Offensive Rookie of the Year, Associated Press Award, goes to Odell Beckham Jr. Not a lot of surprise there. I think we even called that. As we did, the AP defensive rookie went to Aaron Donald, defensive tackle for the Rams.
Not Donaldson.
Oh, well, And I love that guy's speech because public speaking is known to be a very big fear. I don't know if it's still the number one fear. Personally, I'd rather speak in public than be burned alive or eaten by whatever. But he got up there and he seemed very nervous, kind of talking into his chest. Thank you to my team and the people, and can I please get off the stage so you stop looking at me? And and good for him. 9 sacks. As a rookie defensive tackle, that's balling. Good for him.
Yeah.
And he looked so cute up there. He's a big man, and he looked so baby-faced. Oh, it's adorable. And then he hits people so hard that they turn to gelatin.
AP Comeback Player of the Year was Rob Gronkowski. No shocker there.
You know which one I only recently just, today thought of, wait, how come he wasn't even mentioned? Was Dwayne Allen. 8 touchdowns this year, heck of a lot of receptions. He was out all of last year. He went out in the second quarter of the first game. He wasn't even mentioned.
Yep, he wasn't even a finalist.
That's weird. But that, you know what? I didn't even think about him, and he's on the Colts, so that lets you know how non-a-factor that is. I don't know.
Bridgestone Performance Player of the Year is Odell Beckham Jr. with the 43-yard one-handed grab that he had in the Giants. And who were they playing when they did that one?
They sure were.
Yep. I guess it doesn't matter because the catch was all that mattered in that game.
Yep. Assistant Coach of the Year, Todd Bowles, formerly of the Arizona Cardinals, where he was defensive coordinator. He is now the head coach of the New York Jets. Great hire. Coach of the Year, Bruce Arians of the Arizona Cardinals. We love you, Bruce. You do fantastic work, and you know it. And Bruce Arians was one of many people to say, hey, this is a team award. He almost, I love Bruce Arians. He almost seemed irritated to be getting it. Look, I'm not the only one who did the work. All right. Jeez. Damn it.
The AP Offensive Player of the Year went out to DeMarco Murray. That's well-deserved. Obviously, if you're not going to win the MVP, you're most likely going to get the Offensive or Defensive Player of the Year, depending on what side of the ball you reside. DeMarco Murray gets that despite the fact that he had probably one of the best offensive lines in recent memory. He still had to get all of those yards, and without him, that Cowboys team doesn't win all those games on the road. They don't win nearly as many games as they did, and they might not even make the playoffs.
He did a fantastic job, and I could say you could give it to Le'Veon Bell, you could give it to Andrew Luck, but DeMarco Murray is one of those picks where it's very difficult to argue with, and like you said, well-deserved. He had 1,800-something yards on the ground. Nuts. Very good.
AP Defensive Player of the Year, J.J. Watt. He was the first unanimous decision ever.
Yeah, and well-deserved. He is the first player to have 2 years with 20-plus sacks. So, and he's still young. This is bad news for a lot of people.
Lastly, of course, the big award was the AP MVP award, which went to Aaron Rodgers, who beat J.J. Watt by 1 vote.
And in our preview show last week, we said, look, they're going to give it to Aaron Rodgers because that is the pick that you can argue with the least. But there was nobody out there this year whose play was so dynamic. Last year we had Peyton Manning putting on the best season ever had by a quarterback. And the year before, if I'm remembering right, it was Adrian Peterson going absolutely nuts at running back with 0 talent at quarterback on his team to lighten the load for him. So we've been kind of spoiled in recent years for individual performances. And while that wasn't the case this year, Aaron Rodgers is so good that we expect more from him than we really should. More than is fair. He is fantastic and he deserved the award, even if he wants to be a grumpy Gus when he wins it.
All right, going into the Hall of Fame nominees and winners. Well, actually, I don't have the nominees. So going into the Hall of Fame class of 2015, we have Junior Seau, linebacker, 56.5 sacks, 18 interceptions, and 3 forced fumbles with the San Diego Chargers, Miami Dolphins, and New England Patriots. 6-time All-Pro linebacker. helped lead the Chargers to their lone Super Bowl appearance in 1994, only defender in the history of the league to have played 20 years.
Fantastic. First year vote in. Some people will say that is kind of mandated by his suicide. That may be the case. That definitely kind of gets you in a little early, a tragic death. But the dude's getting in, whether this year or next year, and it's a very special honor for his family, his two young sons, to be able to see his dad, their dad being awarded first time go. Tim Brown, wide receiver, caught 1,094 passes for 14,934 yards and 100 touchdowns over 17 seasons, all but one of those with the Raiders. At the time of his retirement, he was the NFL's second most receiving yards leader. Sixth year of eligibility, he is quoted as saying, "It was tough, but when you have Jerry Rice and Andre Reed, you have to wait your turn. I'm just elated to be sitting here."
Yeah, and the one season that he did not play with the Raiders, he played with the Pats.
Interesting. Cool.
Yep, where he played both sides of the football.
Ooh, spine tingly dingly.
Next up, Jerome the Bus Bettis, running back for the Steelers and the Rams, carried the ball 3,479 times for 13,662 yards and 91 touchdowns in his 13 seasons, helped lead the Steelers to the championship in Super Bowl 30. His final year before retiring, rushed for at least 1,000 yards
in XL 40? Because, see, the X goes before the L. The L is indicative of 10. The X is a prefix to 10 that indicates 10 less.
Okay, so...
You are just crap at math. How the hell are you an accountant?
I don't know Roman numerals because it's a language I shouldn't have to speak. I use numbers like a real human.
Yeah, those are numbers. Numbers are relative to the culture that uses them.
Okay, well, great. Then they can have them. And I don't know why our Super Bowl doesn't just use numbers.
Well, they are going to for 50 because Super Bowl L didn't look good, and the NFL is dumb.
That's because it looks like Super Bowl loser.
Well, based on my jackwad rant of the last one, that's gonna be how it is. Who cares? Whatever. Just keep talking about the guy.
Rush for at least 1,000 yards in 8 seasons.
Fine. Okay. Charles Haley, defensive end / linebacker. 49ers and Cowboys defensive end, compiled 100.5 sacks and 2 interceptions in his 13-year career. The only player in NFL history to have 5 Super Bowl rings. And the Cowboys will tell you, they were close. As soon as they got him from the 49ers, that was kind of that missing piece, and they were able to go on their tear. Fantastic. Very, very logical to put him in.
Next up, Will Shields, guard. Played 224 consecutive games from his rookie season to 1993 until he retired and started 223 of those games. 3-time Pro Bowl guard. Not a whole lot here. He's a guard.
He's a guard. It's very difficult to say, what they did and didn't do. But when you start 223 out of your 224 games, chances are you should be in the Hall because you wouldn't stick around if you weren't good. Also making it in as a contributor, Bill Polian, all the way back to 78. He was with the Buffalo Bills, Indianapolis Colts, and was right there at the start of the expansion Carolina Panthers. Teams appeared in, more than 5 Super Bowls because there were 4 for Buffalo, 1 for Carolina, 2 for Indianapolis.
Ron Wolf also made it in as a contributor, longtime personnel man in the NFL, considered one of the top talent evaluators in NFL history.
And last but not least, Mick Tingelhoff, center for the Vikings, 5-time All-Pro over 17 seasons, helped win 10 division titles from 68 through 78 and 4 Super Bowl appearances, getting in his last year of eligibility. And he has more All-Pros than some other centers who were already in the Hall. Largely believe that what was hurting him was the writer for whatever Minnesota newspaper that was presenting him was not liked by the young voters, and that's largely what kept him out. Sad, but imagine how happy he is, grandpa that he is now, to have children and grandchildren there as he finally gets his due. Congratulations to all of them. We each have one person we can really briefly touch on and say, hey, how did this guy not make it in? Ron, would you like to touch on your corn man?
Wow, that is that's very
Accurate.
condescending.
That is accurate. You can deal with it.
I, of course, was upset that Kurt Warner did not make it in. I think that he should have made it in. Corn Warner, thank you. Okay. Most accurate quarterback in NFL history. Obviously, people believe that those years or that year in New York was what damaged him beyond recognition in his career for some reason, because I guess no quarterback that has ever made it in the Hall of Fame was allowed to have a bad season ever. And it bugs me because he definitely he should be in by now. I think that he got snubbed. I know, but I think the guy that you think got snubbed more than Kurt Warner did.
Yeah, the guy that I am going to say definite snub is Marvin Harrison of the Colts. Now, largely he's going to be snubbed because logjam at wide receiver and too many people there. Tim Brown has already been waiting, so this was Marvin's second year of eligibility, third all-time in receptions behind Tony Gonzalez and Jerry Rice, and nobody's catching Jerry Rice. Ultimately, he's going to wait a year or two more, and that's just the business, because his negative is he had Peyton Manning throwing to him, and he might have killed a guy. There's also
he did not kill a guy.
That's why I said might have. I don't think he did, but I don't know. Heck, for all we know, Peyton Manning killed 7 people. There could be tons of bodies in Indiana that, he is directly responsible for, and we have zero idea. I'm not saying he did. I'm just saying it's possible. For all we know, George Washington murdered people all the time that were, just random citizens. I don't think he did. That seems really weird, but he could have. Just saying, don't rule out possibilities.
We now, as a listener, invite you to a very special segment.
Mm-hmm. Now, we're going to have just a couple awards on our own. Thanks, by the way, to all of you when I put out, hey, what awards would you like to see, like 2 or 3 weeks beforehand? And we get 0 emails. So apparently you just want me to say whatever. So, thanks.
And then they're going to complain about it later.
Yeah, they're going to complain about, how do you talk about this? Blah, 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 blah. Well, because I don't like you. Because you don't talk to me. Sitting there, hey, how you doing? Across the cafeteria. And you go, tss, and give me a nasty face and go sit with the other kids. That's fine. That's cool. I'm going to burn your house down.
Did you ever think that maybe it's because you're so confrontational?
No. Because here's how the email would go. Hey, Kyle, how about an award for the guy with the best beard? Sincerely, Jerkwad. And I'd go, Jerkwad, that is an excellent award topic. But since nobody wrote that, we don't have one. And anyway, the answer is Ryan Fitzpatrick.
The Amish rifle.
Yes. And that would be the Norse God Award for Best Beards. There you go. So we are going to call these our own thing instead of the AP MVP or whatever. We're not the Associated Press, obviously, so we have our own. So let's start it out with the Tim Tebow Can We Please Stop Talking About This Guy Already award. Only clear-cut winner in this, Johnny Manziel.
Yeah. Well, it's about time, right?
Well, and we're still talking about him, so that lets you know how well that's working out.
I feel like he'll just end up like Lindsay Lohan.
Strung that on coke?
No, in a Super Bowl commercial driving a minivan.
Oh. Okay, that makes a lot more sense than having 3 dudes in him at once.
All right, so what's the next one you got here, Kyle?
The next one, Richie Kotai, Worst Coach Imaginable Award. Now, I'm going to say on this one, Lovie Smith edges out Ken Wisenhunt due to the McCoy deal. There we go.
I got nothing to say about that. We went into that so much.
The Ryan Leaf Biggest Bust We All Saw Coming Award, Jadeveon Clowney. 0 sacks, microfracture surgery, and by the way, the Texans' Director of College Scouting. The guy who scouted Jadeveon Clowney and read the reports and made the evaluations and recommendations. Your New York Jets' new general manager. Congratulations. The Icky Shuffle Award for player most likely to be a one-year wonder, Jeremy Hill. Way to keep it in house, Bengals. Good job.
The Peyton Manning Frito Pizza Award for the worst idea for realsies goes to Roger Goodell and the NFL handling of the Ray Rice ordeal.
Absolutely. I think we all know the pitfalls of that. So let's just go on to our next award, which is the Ray Rice Hardest Hit Award.
Oh, really?
But everybody already assumes I'm the devil. Everybody
All
assumes
right.
that I am the devil, but I'm like mad at Bill Belichick because he stole some of my power and I just need it back, and he's insulated himself and I can't get to him.
It's all trapped inside the hoodie with the cutoff sleeves.
Yeah, he's such a... Anyway, the Hardest Hit Award goes to Vontae Davis slamming Gio Bernard on a screen pass so hard that he looked concussed from getting hit in the ribs. That is how you hit a man.
Next up, we have the Fail Mary Worst Call Award. And for me, that is definitely the Cowboys-Lions playoff game. It couldn't be anything else other than that.
Not a football move. Ridiculous. Hey, by the way, Tony Romo had some jokes to make about this at the NFL award show. The only guy who seemed to have a smile, Tony Romo, that just made me like you that much more, buddy. Good on you for being able to move on and not cry about it. The Inbred Unicorn, best thing we saw all year that still made us kind of sad award. That has got to be Tom Brady saying the word balls about 200,000 times on camera.
Yeah, that's definitely my favorite. Like, I always knew that Tom Brady liked to say the word balls, especially humming them, but
Whoa.
I just didn't think I'd ever see it on national television. Like, I'm pretty sure that violates some sort of FCC law.
Yes, it's the Al Davis Stupidest Decision by Leadership Award. And you wrote this out, and I wanted to come up with something else, but I'm like, I got nothing. That is the Colts' insistence on Trent Richardson.
Definitely.
And they got away from it at the end, but damn, dude, just damn.
I know that was cold, but I had to throw something in there. I did take a
You know
little
what?
stab at
Here's
you.
the thing. It was cold, but then I'm sitting there like trying hard to find something else. I'm like, I have nothing. I have nothing that I can say isn't just me trying to deflect blame. I am sorry. I mean, Ryan Grigson has done a mostly fantastic job, but he really tried to make that work, and I understand why, but there's a limit. There is, and that was, oh, man. Okay, the Mark Sanchez Butt Fumble Award for dumbest what the hell.
Two players that ended their season doing celebration dances. One of them, Stephen Tulloch from the Lions. The other, Lamar Houston from the Chicago Bears.
Which does contribute to the logic that if you try to get Aaron Rodgers, he will use his mind powers. Okay, so the Jay Cutler Biggest Disappointment Award. Robert Griffin III. Congratulations.
Easily. And the Robert Griffin Biggest Letdown Award is Jay Cutler.
Deserving. The Sugar Bear I'm an effing boss award. We got to give some love to Matt Forte. He did not get nearly enough love, just like the bear from Golden Crisp, who is Sugar Bear. Can't get enough of that Golden Crisp. What happened to those commercials? Did that bear stab somebody? Because you can totally imagine him knifing a dude in between the ribs with like a stiletto.
No, he just showed up to a press conference wearing the wrong hat.
All right, whatever. Anyway, the Fighting Mongooses Award for Best Team, given the circumstances, the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah, they clawed and scratched their way as far as they could, didn't they?
I kind of see it more as like the devil's taking them, but he's taking them at a carnival, and they keep distracting the devil on the way to the portal to hell with like skee ball and crap like that. My imagination is awesome, you guys. Why nobody's trying to get me to write crap down for TV shows, I don't know. I will keep this country entertained.
All right, and lastly, the Free Beer Award for Awesomest Player Ever.
Vince Wilfork. That dude has such a man gut, and he goes out there and says, I am fat, I am big, I am intense, and I will wreck you. And he seems like a genuinely nice guy who will rip car doors off their hinges to save people. and we want to party with him.
I do.
You know what? I think part of it is I think we could actually hang with him because, like Gronkowski, there's no way. 20 minutes in, I'm going to be like, dude, I have alcohol poisoning. I'm done. I'm going to the hospital. I can't handle this. Vince Wilfork, it's going to be a lot of, okay, drink your beer, but now eat this chicken. I'm going to be full with Vince Wilfork. I'm going to be like, Vince,
Plate of
I
ribs.
can't eat anymore. Stop giving me food, Vince. And he's going to be like, more from me? And then he's just going to be really happy because we're going to make him feel like, you know, like a boss. Like, how do you eat this much? You are a true athlete. And then we're going to get some like Japanese hot dog eating kid and we're going to beat him up and give him a wedgie. All right. So, Ron, you got some knowledge into the way football works. I'm going to say a great deal more than me. And I would very much, you got some stuff here. Let's have some way too early long shot predictions for 2015. Let's hear what you got.
All right. Number 1, I have Brett Favre will finally have his number retired by the Packers.
Logical.
All right. Number 2, I have the Jaguars will have no less than 8 wins.
Maybe.
All right. Number 3, I have the Giants will win their division.
That's possible. Yeah.
Number 4, I got DeMarco Murray will be playing for a Super Bowl team.
He does want to stay with the Cowboys, so I don't know. But if they can't afford to pay him, he's going somewhere good.
Number 5, I have Odell Beckham will make 10 game-defining catches.
That's not even that risky at this point.
Number 6, I have Arizona will dominate their division. Number 7, I have a team that has never won a Super Bowl will win one.
Ooh.
Next, I have Peyton Manning will return and go out on top with his last league MVP, but not a Super Bowl.
That seems strangely plausible.
Next, I have Ray Rice will be the reason a team makes the playoffs.
Okay.
Next, I have Jay Cutler will be the reason the Bears win 12 games.
Oh, Ron.
Next, I have Andrew Luck will break at least 2 NFL records.
Good ones or bad ones?
I don't know.
Well, I don't like that then.
I would have said good ones before you gave me crap about the Jay Cutler statement.
Okay, well then, haha, you just said, well, I mean, come on, man. Come I think John Fox and Adam Gase are great, but there's a limit, dude.
3 teams that have not seen the playoffs in 5+ years will make it. Those teams being Rams, Raiders, Bucks, Bills, Dolphins, Browns, or Titans.
I'm going to say no to the Titans.
Next, I have Todd Bowles will get eaten alive in New York and is fired after 1 year.
Well, that one's sad.
But very plausible considering the demographic.
Well, I guess. I think he's actually good. That just makes me feel bad. Whatever, Bruce Arians will have him back. Bruce Arians is a nice guy and smart, and Todd Bowles is a hell of a DC.
Next, the officials will mess up so bad that the NFL finally has to step in live.
Yes.
Next, Marshawn Lynch will use his money to remove his ability to speak.
Okay.
Next is J.J. Watt will have an erotic book that is better than Gronkowski's.
I am on that.
And lastly, Roger Goodell will name himself the comeback player of the year.
Can somebody remove his trachea? So, I mean, he can be there, but do we have to listen to him talk?
All right, we're going to get to some emails. Now, this has been kind of what we kind of blazed through everything else for. We wanted to get to the emails for you guys. So let's go ahead and jump into these. First up, hey guys, thanks again for reading my comment on the show. Wanted to tell you how I feel about the Super Bowl win. After having watched it all start to finish, it is still hard to take the championship seriously as a Patriots fan. I love my team. I have for 45 years. I will never back down or turn away, but I can't help but feel dirty. Most of all, I can't look at Tom Brady and Belichick with any form of respect. Brady winning the MVP only further spat in the face of what it has meant to be a professional in anything. They have set a new standard of who cares and have shown future players around the world that cheating is okay should you not get caught as long as everyone else is doing it. Thanks again, guys. Love the show. Can't wait for your review.
That's from Mark Mazzina, who also adds Go Pats. You know what I like? Mark just straight up didn't have a question. He just commented, and I got to the end. I'm like, wait, there's nothing for us to say. And there's nothing for us to say because, once again, everyone, take notes, articulate, had a point, sentence structure. And this is one we're guessing he wrote on his phone because there's a couple of like autocorrect spellings and whatever. And that's, whatever, that's fine. Because he has proven he's not stupid.
Mark, this is the second time he's wrote us a message or email, and both times they've been very good. And so I'm going to take this moment to invite Mark for when we do the Pats review show. We would love to have you on, Mark.
Oh man, that would be fantastic. Mark, if you're listening, please send us an email. I would love to have your opinion. Heck, I just like to talk football with you because this guy understands the integrity of the game, and I respect that. I respect that very much.
Love to have you on, Mark. Please send us an email. Just let us know what you think. It's okay if you don't want to. We understand why some people wouldn't, but we would love to have you on.
Yeah, nobody wants to deal with me raw.
Especially since you say that you have been a Pats fan for 45 years. I take that means that you have been around and seen a lot of NFL and love to pick your brain on some of the stuff that Kyle and I weren't even alive for.
Absolutely. And for a lot of our younger listeners, I'm going to make this grand assumption that Mark is at least 45 years old. I'm going to use logic and reason for that. Unless he is some sort of wizard who's able to cram extra years worth of love into his existing years. If he's like, no, dude, I'm 15. I just love super hardcore. Like, damn. Take me to school, professor. But no, this is a guy who, as I said, respects the integrity of the game. And with the slight tarnishing, it's enough to make you kind of turn your stomach. Mark, I'd like to have your opinion on what I said about the NFL going maybe a little soft, saying, oh, well, it's not the Pats' fault. It's not this guy's fault. It's, big misunderstanding. That's what I think the end result is going to be. I'd like to get your take on that because you're the person who's emailing us who's the most articulate. I don't think you need to quite feel bad yet. I hope you were cheering your team, but tell other Patriots fans, because when I get onto message boards and oh, hey, it turns out Colts GM Ryan Grigson was the one that posted it. There is nothing but hate and just, oh, the Colts tanked to get Andrew Luck, and there's that one flaw in another team, and therefore a lot of Patriots fans feel they can say whatever they want. This guy's the exception. I enjoy that. Let's look at the total opposite of this.
Next up, we have Kyle. What is your problem? You hate the Pats. You bash both Tom Brady and Russell Wilson, but then tout a QB and Andrew Luck that has done next to nothing. Tom Brady had the same amount of nothing on his team and took it to a Super Bowl. What's your excuses?
My excuses, which lets me know, just kind of like the negative I was describing, sometimes fans get it in their head to where they are right and they don't need to argue with logic and reason. And when I hear what's your excuses, that's saying anything I say is automatically an excuse, not logic or reason. So my excuse is, well, when you are the number one overall, you're generally on a bad team. The Colts junked 75% of their roster the year Andrew Luck took over. If you were on the team the year before, you more than likely were not the year he came on. Or you weren't starting, or just some variation of that. Starting over. To go 11-5 3 years in a row is nuts. Also, I'm not going to say anything about Russell Wilson's weapons in terms of receivers. Because from what I saw, the best receiver playing for Seattle in the Super Bowl was a dude who was playing his first game for them. So I'll give credit where credit's due, but we know he gets help from the run game and the defense. So there's that. Tom Brady, don't tell me he has nothing. Julian Edelman is a freaking boss. The Patriots have a good system. Julian Edelman is just the new Wes Welker. Wes Welker was a boss for the Patriots. He is a third down conversion machine. I do not believe you when you say Tom Brady has the same amount of nothing. He has a Gronkowski. He has an Edelman. He's got Darrelle Revis. He's got Brandon Browner. He's got Vince Wilfork. He's got Danny Amendola. With the Colts, after T.Y. Hilton, you've got an injured Reggie Wayne, a rookie Dante Moncrief, and, no production Hakeem Nicks. You got an oft-injured Dwayne Allen at tight end, and Kobe Fleener, who's here and there, hit and miss. So T.Y. Hilton, yeah, he's great. You double cover him, you just won the game. That is why I think Andrew Luck is better. He carries the team. Keep in mind, when Tom Brady first started for the Patriots, there was a hell of a defense around him. And that is what largely won those first 3 Super Bowls. Tom Brady, I will give amazing credit to the man. He has improved more from day one to where he is now than any person I think to have ever played the game. That is incredible to me. But don't even act like you think Andrew Luck is doing nothing, because at that point, you're looking at through your own viewpoint, and I got nothing for you.
Next up, we got Keil, Moment of Truth. Do you think Tom Brady is the best QB to ever play the game, considering all he has accomplished? No BS, no deflection. You have to be honest. Thanks, Tim in Ontario.
Tim, thank you for not being a jerk with your question, but forcing me to be honest. How about this? I'm getting there. That's hard for me to admit, but I think Tom Brady, he's not throwing deep very much anymore, but he's getting old, and that's fine. But he's approaching the Peyton Manning level of cerebral intelligence and just total management. If you're talking best QB in terms of best overall player, person, whatever, no, I can't. I will never be able to give him that because of like some personal issues and whatnot. In terms of just on the field production, yeah, he's really starting to make me think about it a little more. I don't think Super Bowl wins are just a stat to be like, this is how great you are, because as I've said a million billion times, if you swap him and Peyton Manning for all those years they were both active, there is going to be the same amount of wins for the Patriots. The same amount, if not more. I think Peyton Manning had better physical talents early on and was the better mental quarterback and still is. That dude is insanity. However, I do think that the gap is very narrow. And now whenever somebody says they think Tom Brady's the best, I'm not even going to argue with it because they've got enough ammo there to where it's like, yeah, if that's your viewpoint, yeah, you're totally entitled to. You are not wrong.
When it comes to our era, and I have to be very specific when I say this because there's a lot of quarterbacks spanned over a very long time. This last 15, 20 years, that is considered this generation of quarterback that has been able to play up until now. And the legends that are Peyton Manning and Tom Brady and Brett Favre and these guys, those are going to be the quarterbacks that I consider for this spot. And to me, Tom Brady has to be number one. Aaron Rodgers could easily overtake him if he can get everything together there in Green Bay. But right now, Aaron Rodgers to be number two. I have Peyton Manning somewhere in the 3 to 4 range. Then somewhere there's Brett Favre and Kurt Warner. So I think that's a logical list. I don't think that anybody could say that that's not good.
A lot of it, the thing is with everybody, it's perception, it's feeling, it's what you weigh as the most important. I
mean, you could easily put Phillip Rivers, Ben Roethlisberger in there. A lot of those guys can jump right in there as well. But for me, it's just that's the way I look at it. Like all time, Peyton Manning is the all time leader in a lot of things, and he is going to be the all time best statistically probably out there. I don't feel like he is all time the best one. It can't be that way anymore.
For playoffs, yeah. You got to look at Tom Brady because the drop off in play for Peyton Manning in the playoffs, you can't just blame that all on his defense or his receivers or anything. He's got to shoulder the blame. Tom Brady does not have the same drop off. There's the standard, hey, you're playing in the playoffs against great competition who wants it more than anything drop off. And you don't penalize anybody for that. That's to be expected. I think the regular season counts just as much as the postseason, and a lot of people disagree with that. Ultimately, for me, I say if you were to take the guy off of the team he's on with his current talent and skill set and put him on a different team, what is the result? If you were to switch, anytime you compare people with Peyton Manning and Tom Brady, you have that luxury of they are from the same exact time playing each other. Swap them teams, and in your head, if you can honestly say, oh no, Tom Brady would dominate the Patriots. First off, how does it feel to be a mind trader? And secondly, are you sure? Are you putting your quarterback over your team? For me, I still say Peyton, but it's right now as Peyton is kind of, I'll say this, Peyton's kind of diminishing his own legacy right now, playing injured and with old age, and it's not looking so good. So there is that. If he continues to play at a substandard level, there's not going to be any argument. You're going to say, well, Tom Brady is, because Peyton's getting records, but he's just limping by. Tom Brady is still playing at a high level, even as an old man, and that'll be the razor's edge right there.
If you had to pick, let's say that the Hall of Fame election was tomorrow, and the only two people that they only have one spot to give, and the only two people that are there are Peyton Manning and Tom Brady. Right now, who do you pick to go in?
Oh man, I don't know how you make that decision.
Okay.
Peyton Manning's got, like you said, more MVPs and the best statistical season of any quarterback ever, and all the records. And Tom Brady's got the rings, and I do not know how to weigh that out in terms of who goes into the Hall, because to deny one or the other would just be wrong. So I'd abstain.
Okay. Next up, we had a lot of comments from Seahawks fans that thought that it would be cute to comment before their team actually lost the game. You see, a lot of these came either right after that Seahawks touchdown or right after the Javon Kearse juggling catch. And I just find it funny that they didn't wait until they found out that their team lost to berate us with comments. Here are just a couple of the about 12 to 15 comments we got. I picked out the best couple here. How are you bleeping, because I had to censor it, idiots feeling now? Seahawks just went back-to-back morons, all in capital letters. And next, haha, you guys are a couple of retards riding a short bus into a lake, which I credit you for creativity.
Yes.
But you guys, a little premature there.
This is exactly what we were talking about, too. So cocky and arrogant, you can't even wait until the game is over. What kind of idiot? I mean, we're talking about Tom Brady and how great he is, and I'm at the point where even me hating with the whole deflated ball thing and whatnot and all that, I still have to give credit where credit is due. Are you the kind of idiot who bets against Tom Brady with 3 minutes left and you're only up by one score, or not even a complete score? Are you high? The hell is wrong with it? He's Tom Brady. It turns out he's good. He's got Gronkowski, Edelman, and Amendola. He's good. Are you, and you've got the balls to send us an email insulting us before the dust is settled? Yeah, thanks for proving our point. How do we feel right now? Pretty good.
And you should feel stupid.
Yeah.
Next up, we have, hey guys, given the season is over, who do you think are the sleepers for next year? Well, and that is from Janice in Rockford. And Janice, this is going to sound like a cop-out, and I apologize, but we are actually going to do a special segment on that in the offseason. So if I had to give you a couple of teams right off the top of my head, obviously I think Giants, Raiders, Redskins, right off the top of my head, of teams that could be sleepers. But
like sleepers in terms of like make the playoffs, sleepers for the Super Bowl. I mean, the team that I think is going to have the biggest improvement, probably Ron is right, is the Giants. There's a massive confidence swing. Sometimes confidence is all you need. Players always say, we don't go in thinking we're going to lose. That's a lie. If you are the Raiders of this year and you play against like the Broncos of this year, you know what's happening. Some of these teams that are in the cellar and they're playing the Patriots, you know what's going to happen. The Giants have a little bit more confidence, and that's sometimes all you need to get everybody playing that high level.
And a coach that is big time on the hot seat heading into the final year of his contract. And every time Tom Coughlin is headed into a contract year and on the hot seat, he's won a Super Bowl.
Well, that's pretty darn good.
So next up we have Keil. Please settle an argument for me. How old are you and Ron? Tiffany in Vancouver. And I don't know why she wants to know that.
Well, I don't know why she only asked me. Like, why are you incapable?
I don't know, but apparently you're the one that everybody goes to for answers, and I don't understand that because because you're an ass, and I'm the one with all the facts. I don't know.
Okay, well, here's the thing. She used please and punctuation. Tiffany, you are an amazing human, and we got a lot of people from Canada.
Yeah, we do.
Why does Canada like us so much?
I don't know.
Are we hosers?
We're not.
Also, please send me a box of Kraft dinner. I am 31.
And I am 30, about to be 31 here in March.
Birthday. But yeah, I am 31, and I've got a while until I'm 32.
Next up, we have, hey guys, worst officiated game this year, go. And that's from Bass or Base in Birmingham. I don't know which one it is.
Birmingham, Alabama. I'm going to go with Bass.
Yes.
Which is pretty cool. That's a name where there's a very few things that you can do. Like, you kind of have to be a fishing guide or something like that. Like, you can't be a guy named Bass and work as like a mortgage adjuster. That doesn't work. If he's a mortgage adjuster, I'm going to feel like such an asshole.
Oh gosh, please, Bass, if you're listening, email us back and tell us what you do, because I want to rub it in Kyle's face. I hope you're like a CEO of like
if
something.
You're just like a white collar working, it'll be like, God damn it. Just son of a bitch right in my face.
So worst officiated game, Kyle.
I see. There weren't a whole lot of games where I just remember going, how in the hell, at least I don't remember them now. There were a few where we were just like, what the hell is wrong with you? So I'm sorry. All I can say is the worst call has to be that not a football move call, and I'm sorry to cop out that way. We can go over our notes later and get that answer, I guess, but a worst officiated game, all I'm going to say is I'm going to bet money it's Jeff Triplett.
It is Jeff Triplett. My pick is Jeff Triplett. My pick is Jeff Triplett, and it is the Arizona Lions game when the Arizona Cardinals ducked in and tossed the ball back out of the end zone, basically downing the ball at the 1, and it was complete crap. And then they repeatedly screwed the Lions on that game.
Guys, with this all over now, can you objectively say that the two best teams played for the trophy, Allen and Wasilla? On the AFC, yes.
On the NFC, I would say no.
On the NFC, yeah, I got to kind of agree with you. The Seahawks definitely got hot at the right time, but it gets a little murky there. There was a little bit of trouble for them in mid-season, but they certainly pulled out of it. But then they had such a struggle in that NFC Championship game. You know, you could make the argument that the Packers were better. You could also make the argument that the Cardinals were better. I mean, we were dead set on the Cardinals just rocking this thing all day long, and then they had quarterback injury. So you still have to go with the idea that the team is, you know, you can't say, well, that's not our team because the guy's injured. That's not how the NFL works. So more or less, I guess, you know, kind of, but you could have replaced the Packers with the Seahawks and nobody would have had an issue, except the Patriots, who would not have had as easy a time.
Correct. That's it, Kyle. That's it for emails. That's it for the awards. That's going to wrap us up.
Fantastic. I am about to go into Wasilla myself to do power work. My company has been able to... Actually, I don't know if I can say anything. I don't know if the NDA has been lifted. I'm going to shut my mouth on this one. I'm pretty sure the information will be public knowledge next week. In any case, I am doing some work on some new systems, and it's all very exciting, and hopefully I don't electrocute myself.
Thanks to Nick Wright, sound-right.com, WRIGHT. Thanks to Cindy. This was a much more tame podcast than the last one, so I hope you enjoyed that one and made it easier on you. Hope the baby is doing well. Thanks to our military, everybody out there. We appreciate everything you're doing, especially, as Kyle said in the last show, those that are serving overseas and had to wake up in the middle of the night to watch the Super Bowl and any of the other football-related things that they've had to watch over this entire season. So we appreciate you and everything you do. Do come home safe. Thanks.
Make sure and get those injuries documented.
Lastly, thanks to the listeners. We appreciate you guys as well. Get out there, help us out with those sponsors so we can give back to you. That is the biggest thing we're trying to do. And that's it, Kyle.
Well, another reminder to everybody, before you listen to the hilarity that is Seth Meyers and his monologue for the NFL awards, please remember we are about to kick off very soon. I don't know if exactly this upcoming week or when the best time frame is for us to do it. We are going to be reviewing the season of all of the NFL teams, going from worst to first. Was it a success? Was it a failure? why, who are the key people, how happy should you be for next year. So if you're a fan and you're saying, hey, I'm a Bucs fan, and this was a success because why, please tell me. If you're a Bucs fan, hey, I'm happy for next year, please tell me. Because for some of the bottom dwellers, we got nothing but mean things to say, and I don't want it to be that cut and dry. And if you're a fan of, like, say, the Ravens, and you think we should have done a lot better, please tell me. Please tell us. Please send us an email, because otherwise you're just going to get our stinky opinions.
Lastly, when he's talking about these review shows, we are going to start recording at a set time on Saturdays. We are going to be putting all of that out next show when we do our actual final year in review show for us. We're going to be putting out everything that you need to know for the off season and our off season plan, and that will also include the times that we record and when you'll be able to call into the show while we're recording, so that you can talk to us or whatever it is about your team in the week that we're reviewing them. And we will always keep you updated on the schedule of what teams we're going to review when. Sometimes we will review maybe one team. Sometimes we might review 2 or 3 teams, because given the fact that some of the teams are going to be kind of in the middle, or they kind of stay where they are and we believe that's where they're going to stay next year, well, there might not be a whole lot to go over with those teams. So stick with us. Check the Facebook page, check the blog, check the webpage. Everything there is going to tell you what you need to know. If you have any questions, comment and email us. Send us a quick note on Twitter. Tweet us, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, the NFL teams are starting to tweet us a little bit. Didn't the Cardinals send something to us?
Absolutely. We are currently at 31 NFL teams. The only team that has not followed us on Twitter is the New England Patriots.
Hell yeah. That's what's up.
So
you can deal with it.
Congratulations, Kyle.
I am so proud of that. Seahawks, I love you. And let me just tell everybody, when I'm watching the game, I love Jesus, okay? And that's a great way to start a sentence. I'm so proud of myself. Okay, I love Jesus so hard. Me and him are like brothers, because that's what it says in the Bible, so don't tell me I'm wrong. So anyway, me and Jesus are like brothers, and I'm sitting there, I'm going, Jesus, you need to let the Seahawks win this game. He's like, I know, because the Patriots are clearly evil. I mean, Mark gets it because he's a good man. He understands when the dogs are barking and like, oh, it's an earthquake. So he knows what evil is. So he's going, okay, we can't have this. And we know that the Patriots are evil. And Jesus is like, yeah. So when that pass comes in and he catches it, I'm like, oh, this is a sign from God. This is what's going on. And then Bill Belichick's there and Tom Brady's looking worried because he knows there's going to be a whole lot of children sacrificed. So he's got to be sad for that, because what if they're sacrificed in vain? So bam, kids get sacrificed. All of a sudden evil takes over, interception. So that is evil interception. Are you going to let Satan win, America? I think not. Seahawks, wow. I believe you are now a force for good in this world, and that you have been blessed by Jesus. But you are cursed by Satan, and we need to rectify that mistake. I don't know how, and I'm not going to look into how to fix it. That's your problem, not mine. But I am so happy but hey, they follow us on Twitter, so we can't be that terrible. The Patriots, you stay right the hell away. I don't care. I really, really don't. It's not like you following us on Twitter gets us money anyway. The Colts, you can send me money. Or just a smiley face. Just a smiley face. I'm fine with that.
That's going to wrap us up.
That was sane for a while there, but that was my actual literal thought process during the last seconds of the game.
Are you proud of your work?
This is... What worked? That was my actual literal thought process, was that the forces of good were at work and that clearly evil overcame, and that how that is in a movie, I don't know.
Good night, Kyle.
Good night, everyone. I love you.
Good evening and welcome, everyone, to the 4th annual NFL Honors, a night that combines all of the excitement of a trip to Phoenix with none of the hassle of playing in the Super Bowl. It's so great to see so many players here. And let me just say how nice it is to see all of you with your helmets off. Well, except for you, Des Bryant. I feel like your helmet is always off. Do they not have your size? I'd like to congratulate the 2 teams who are playing in Super Bowl 49 on Sunday. They say there's a lot of parity in the league these days, but it seems like no matter what happens during the regular season, it always comes down to the New England Patriots versus the NFL rulebook. Every year. And so, as I say to my therapist at the beginning of every session, I need to talk about Tom Brady's balls. This story is out of control. I mean, how crazy do things have to get to hear these words on SportsCenter? Now, here to comment on the Super Bowl, Bill Nye the Science Guy. It's a huge story, and even more shocking, NFL investigators also discovered that New England Patriot Vince Wilfork is actually 3 guys crammed into one uniform. 2 adults and a very husky kid. If there is any group of people who won't get bothered by allegations that their team broke some rules, it is the calm, level-headed people of Boston. When asked if they thought the Patriots had cheated, 63% of New Englanders said no, while the remaining 37% said, "Are you being smart?" Is that a smart question? Keep walking, bro. I don't want to take your survey. But tonight is about incredible performances, and maybe none were as impressive as those of MVP finalist J.J. Watt. Give it up, J.J. Watt, everybody. And I just want to say to him, J.J., you've been in the league for 4 years. You are very, very good at football. It is time for you to come out of your shell. You have to stop being a shrinking violet, J.J. We want to see the real you. J.J. had 5 scores this year, including 3 offensive touchdowns. 3 offensive touchdowns. It's what the New York Jets call a season. Everyone was talking about Marshawn Lynch this week, well, except for, Marshawn Lynch. Marshawn was fined this season for not speaking to reporters, because if players stopped speaking to reporters, how else would we know that you went out there, played hard, and gave 100%? We'd have no way of knowing. He paid $100,000 so he wouldn't have to talk to you guys. Usually that's called a divorce. Speaking of the Seahawks, Richard Sherman's girlfriend Ashley is pregnant and could go into labor Super Bowl Sunday. It seems tough to stop a baby that wants to come out, but if anyone can shut it down, it's Sherman and his Legion of Womb. Arizona star Larry Fitzgerald is here tonight. Give it up for Larry Fitzgerald. Larry is looking forward to spending the offseason working out and honing his skills, and he told me backstage that if he starts now, he might be able to learn the names of all the Cardinals quarterbacks by opening day. He loves a challenge. It was kind of a tricky year for NFL referees, and I'd just like to say people complain a lot about the NFL refs, but if it weren't for them, we might not have Tony Romo here tonight. Tony is a finalist for MVP. Congratulations on the amazing Cowboys season, returning to the playoffs for the first time in 5 years. I thought it was so nice that the team was finally as high quality as the giant TV in your stadium. You might not know this, Tony, but for the last few seasons, late in games, they would just switch that thing over to reruns of Seinfeld. And that's a show about nothing. Andrew Luck is here tonight. Where's Andrew Luck? And good news, so is his neck beard. Look at that thing. It's either a terrible beard or a great scarf. Andrew, I know making fun of your neck beard is becoming an annual event at the NFL Honors, but that's only because you will not take a hint. Give it up. You play quarterback, not banjo. You know what's so amazing about football is its capacity to surprise us. After Seattle started 3-3, who would have thought they'd still be here? After New England lost to the Chiefs 41-14 in Week 4, who would have thought they'd still be here? And after everything that happened in the NFL this year, who would have thought Roger Goodell would still be here? A survivor. The man is a survivor. More exciting news, the 49ers opened their new Levi's Stadium this season, but sadly, since Levi's makes jeans, the 49ers had to get rid of everyone who wears khakis. We will miss you, Jim Harbaugh. May you and your pleats find the same anger and frustration in the college game that you found in the NFL. I should also mention that tonight's show will run 2 hours, or about twice as long as the Johnny Manziel era. It was a rough start for Johnny Football this year, but it makes more sense when you learn that his middle name is College, Johnny College Football. I don't see Peyton Manning in the house tonight, which I guess means no one paid Papa John the ransom. Fun fact, if you watch those Papa John commercials closely, you can actually see Peyton blinking "Help me" in Morse code. Archie, you better be getting free dipping sauces out of all of that. That's what I have to say. You know, there was some talk about Peyton retiring after this season. I don't know if he will or he won't, but one thing's for sure, he won't. I believe those retirement rumors about as much as I believe Papa John's hair color. I will say, Aaron Rodgers, you're really giving Peyton a run for his money when it comes to commercials. You may have actually been in more this year. I'm not sure. I'll have to double check. To all of tonight's nominees, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. And remember, even if you lose tonight, you can still win the NFC South. Now, presenting...
Help support the show by going to the Amazon.com search bar on the top of the FBI podcast webpage when doing all of your online shopping. From movies to groceries, Amazon has everything. Go to the website and use our show's search box to help send 10% of your purchase to the show. No extra cost to you, just support. The search box will take you right to the Amazon webpage. That's RonKeilPodcast.libsyn.com and look for the search bar at the top of the page. RONKEIL podcast.libsyn.com. GetWineOnline.com. Get the best bottles online for any occasion. Get 20% off when you click the banner at the top of the FBIA podcast website. Everything from big case orders to single bottles of Merlot or Chardonnay. That's RonKeilPodcast.libsyn.com. RONKEIL podcast.libsyn.com.